As Microsoft seeks outside help for Perfect Dark, insiders believe that Xbox might be eyeing an acquisition.
I remember when everything changed. The floods, the storms, the fires, people dying in the streets.
Welcome everybody and thank you for joining me. There is one big thing to get into today, and that is Xbox and studio acquisitions. Now some people might be aware of this already, but for those who are not, Xbox recently announced that they will be partnering with Crystal Dynamics, the creators behind Tomb Raider, for the upcoming Perfect Dark reboot. Now as you can imagine, this did cause quite a bit of controversy for some who took it as an indication that Xbox Studios was incapable of developing their own games. Now that is obviously a ridiculous claim, and the truth is that developers source out work all the time. The initiative is still very new under the Xbox banner, and there are also a very small team of only 60 developers. This team has been tasked with completely rebuilding Perfect Dark from the ground up and work on brand new core game mechanics. Now while that team is busy building the game, they are sourcing out the rest of the work to another developer with a proven track record. We have seen this in the past with publishers like EA and some of the games that they worked on, as well as Santa Monica Studios who worked on God of War. Now granted, they sourced internally, but rumors are now starting to make the rounds as to why Xbox might be sourcing externally. Now before I even get into it, I think by this point most people who watch on a regular basis know how I feel about rumors, but considering that the first part of this story is true, I don't feel like it's too far-fetched to explore some reasoning behind these decisions. Xbox right now is working with 3 studios who are not currently under their banner. Now as previously established, they are working with Crystal Dynamics on Perfect Dark, Avalanche Studios is working on Contraband that will fall under the Xbox Game Studio banner, and IO Interactive, who is behind Hitman, is also working on an unannounced title for Xbox. Now again, all of this might seem strange, but a notable insider, Jeff Grubb, believes that Xbox is working with these studios because they are eyeing a possible acquisition. Comic Book reports currently Xbox and Microsoft are working with a handful of outside developers on projects, some of which haven't been announced. Rather than simply collaborating on these single games and ending their relationship there though, Microsoft might be using these titles as a way to vet whether or not they like to purchase these companies outright in the future. Grubb said that part of the reason why he thinks that Xbox might opt to go down this route at the moment is because Microsoft now wants to make smart purchases. Specifically, what he means by this is that Microsoft wants to find other studios that naturally work well with the team at Xbox, rather than outright buying a number of studios and slowly integrating them within Xbox Game Studios. Microsoft would rather prefer to find companies that it thinks could make the transition to join the Xbox family much more easily. Now honestly, this might be true and it might not be true, but I do not think it is too crazy and far-fetched. Crystal Dynamics is a successful studio with a proven track record, but they are by no stretch of the imagination a massive publisher. They don't push out massive titles every single year the way EA or Activision or Ubisoft does and bring in billions of dollars, so falling under $1 trillion company might go a long way to help them, and the same can be said for IO Interactive and Avalanche. Now it should be noted that Crystal Dynamics falls under Square Enix, but for anyone who knows anything about their revenue will probably also be aware that they do report some massive losses some years, and although they have a few very successful games under their banner, they are also currently under a bit of pressure, especially with the Avengers not working out. In fact, not too long ago they were thinking thinking of selling off their Western branch to Ubisoft. Now, given all of that, it is not too crazy to think that should this partnership be successful, an offer from a $1 trillion company might be enough to entice Square Enix, who is already thinking of selling off certain branches. Crystal Dynamics seems to be a studio that is underutilized by Square Enix. The proof of that, of course, is the fact that they are developing games for Xbox and not for Square Enix, but I also think we're gonna have to wait and see how all of this plays out. For now, this is where I'm going to end it, so if you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit that like button. If you would like to see more videos like this, please consider subscribing, and as always, please remember to stay safe, wash your hands, don't touch your face, and I hope to see you again soon.